Welcome to episode 32 of Words of Wisdom. I'm your host, Minerva Maharajh. And if you're joining us on Goddess of Wisdom TV, welcome. Today, I have a special episode for you. 3 steps to create a high vibe space. And to help you create that, I have the most beautiful, knowledgeable, renowned Anja Lavigne, house coach Anja Lavigne. I'm going to tell you a little bit about her from my personal experience. She's helped me and she's inspired me to create such a beautiful high vibe space, and she's helped so many clients, and I wanted her to come here to help you all to create a high vibe space so that you are in your highest and fullest potential. Anja Lavigne's career began in early childhood and adult education. From there, her entrepreneur spirit just unleashed, and she started a staging and design company called Show and Sell, which began in 2004. She successfully transformed homes for sale, and this gave her an opportunity to be in homes every day for 14 years. And by creating the transformation through design and organization, this completely changed the energy of the space and even the homeowners who were selling. This is when she realized it was time to start helping people who are staying in their homes. So naturally, she became a house coach. And whether you live in a big house or a single room, your home should feel like a safe haven and a place to recharge and reset before going back into the world to slay. Changing the quality of your personal space and environment can actually support you in achieving your full potential. I can attest to that. We're going to be talking about that a lot today. By shifting and maximizing the quality of an individual space, Anja helps to remove energetic blocks that adversely affect and inhibit your personal growth. And she also gives you so many tangible tools to help you continue to refresh and maintain a supportive living space. Thank you for being here, Anja. Welcome.
Thank you, Minerva. What a beautiful introduction. Oh my gosh. I just want to say as well that you are such an important person to our world, to our earth, that you are there to support people and uplift them and really guide them. And, you know, I've worked with you personally and you've taught me so much, and I just love your energy all the time. And you always have my support, and I'm so grateful. So thank you.
Oh, I love you. Thank you so much. So tell me, what inspired you to switch from staging and home design into being a house coach and the energy work that you do with houses? Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah. So as you said, I started, in 2004, and I started in staging. And when you did that, there were different steps. And the first step was always a consultation. And so what that looked like was I was coming in with, to the homeowner, and we would do a walkthrough. That walkthrough was about 2 hours, and we'd go through the different spaces, such as, the front entrance, the living room, the kitchen, like everything you can think of. And then at the end, we either, we did the backyard and the front yard. If you're living in a condo, I even went down into the storage unit, because whatever you were selling, we were marketing, and that's what it was all about. And that list was long. But I have to say, most of my clients did at least 95, if not 99% of what I asked them to do. And some of those areas that was on the list is areas that needed to be refreshed, areas that needed to be repaired, what you needed to be removed, reorganized. And then before I came with my staging, furniture, and decor items, there were 3 things that my clients had in common. And these clients were people who were downsizing because they lived in their house, 20 something years. These were people who had their condo and they want to buy a house, so they were up. Families who were bursting out of the seams. So it was a whole array of people. 3 areas that they had in common. One was, oh my God, I can't believe I have so much stuff. I can't believe all of this was in this place.
Yeah.
And some of them had hired me after to do design work, and I said, so, what happened? Like, did you bring all your items back from the storage unit? No, I don't even miss it. I don't even want anything to do with it. So, they started that detachment. Second was that their skin looked better and they had more energy, which is really something to think about, because when you're selling your house, it's a real stressful time. But just removing and relifting and all that really, put them in a different vibe. And then thirdly was that, again, it was before I brought my things in. It was like, oh my God, Anja, I love my place. Why didn't I do this before? Why didn't I put myself first and see how important I was and that I could enjoy my space? So, in 2016, I thought, I really want to work with everybody, not only people who are selling their house. So I really went into house coaching and, removing what doesn't serve you, empowering you, transforms you. So that's how that all came about.
Oh, I love it. And I want to tell everyone in a moment what you did for the old apartment we lived in. But to add to your point about it just makes you feel so much different, and just your glow and how you feel and how you look is so true. And that's especially why I wanted you on my show today, because with the quarantine and everything that's going on, obviously everyone's spending a little extra time at home, and our home was always really nice. And I took a passion. I have a little Joanna Gaines in me. Okay. So, but especially during this time, it really made me and my husband zone in on, okay, what needs to be reworked in this house? So our landscaping is getting done. Our garages are getting done. I'm doing a master bedroom makeover. And I really love and I really love the space. And every day I wake up, or especially going to bed, and I would go into a certain room and I'd be like, oh, I love our home. And I think that's so important to say and to truly feel and give that gratitude. I know you're going to give us tips, but that's just to say, just the change in the environment, what that does to your soul, to you mentally and emotionally and relationship wise. We love our home, and I've learned so much tips from you. So I wanted to share with everyone, actually. So I actually had Anja come into our home before we moved into the home we're in now, but it was just when it was just me and my husband and our dog Tulip. And do you remember this? Because you have so many clients that you came in and you did you did the cleansing, and you gave such practical tips, move this here, do this. There's things that we could have done ourselves, and you were so great in giving us a plan. But one thing that really stuck out is when you took you took a bell, and I didn't even tell you what was going on, but you went to a certain wall in our apartment and says, there's something negative and anxious going on with this side of your home. And Deb and I looked at each other, because that's when we were in an apartment, and the people who were the person who was next to us, she had a drinking problem. And she was just, we always had problems with them. It was really loud. There was always fights, and it stressed us out. It was so amazing to see when you did that sound bell, how the sound and the vibration was so off. And once you cleared it, how things, how the sound of the bell was different. So there's truth to this. Can you give us another example of something like this that's happened for you?
Yeah, sure. And I do want to say that, yes, that component of energy cleansing your space and really getting in, because, I did do a lot of intuitive work and mediumship and all that. And so I really hone on sort of the higher source of the person who's living in the space and what is around it. So that's what came to me. And then with the bell, it's clearing the sound, but we just first have to uplift all the negative energies. And a lot of it starts to sit, in the corners of the space. I'll give you an example of a client. And another client is a woman who works from home. She has her own entrepreneurial business. And she had a studio space, and she came to me and she said, you know what, I really need it to be more functional. I create art in here. It's not a big space, and it's just not working for me. And I want to move to the next level of my business, and I'm stuck. And I think I'm stuck because I don't like going into my space. So not a problem. That was a 2-hour consultation. And what we did is we worked physically in her space, and we moved things around, and we honed in on a space where she can focus on actually doing her art. We also honed in that when she walked in, she felt empowered, because she is an expert of what she does. And I wanted to make sure that she felt that when she was walking in. And then again, what doesn't serve her anymore, we removed. And about an hour and a half, we were done, and it looked amazing. And she, oh my God, she was just in love. And I can tell you that her business had just spiked up since that time. But what was really interesting with this particular client was that we had some time, And so her sunroom was attached to her bedroom. And I said, why don't we work on your bedroom since this is the room around? And she said, sure. So we walked around there, and there were areas that I had talked. So one is, I'm very big about personal pictures, children, family members. The bedroom is not the space for that. So I had her remove that.
Mm-hmm.
And then I said, what's underneath your bed? And she happened to have, it was kind of around tax time. So she happened to have like papers underneath. And I said, you know what? When you're sleeping, the bedroom really is important for a good, healthy sleep. And of course, intimacy for those who are in relationships in, the master bedroom. So we removed all those papers and found another space in the house to work on. And then beside her husband's bed was this carved wooden frame with a mirror inside, maybe about this size. Mm-hmm. And I said, why is that sitting on the floor leaning against the wall? And she goes, oh gosh, I don't really like that. Shall we get rid of it? And I said, well, no, we need to respect your husband. Does he like it? And she said, yes. And I said, well, let's walk around the house and see where this mirror might look really good. So, I pointed a couple of places, and then we found one. And I said, what do you think? And she said, oh my God, yeah, I never even thought of that. The mirror would look so good there. So we grabbed the mirror, ready to put it up. And behind the mirror was a photograph picture frame of her husband and his ex-wife. And she, you can just imagine, right? Yeah. And so I said to her, we need to obviously remove this right away. And I said, I have no attachment to it, so I'm taking it and I will discard it. But what I want to say about this piece is that, this woman was always sort of in the way of their relationship, where she asked her ex-husband, can you go do this? And can you go do that? And she could have called a handyman. But she kept on going into interfering that relationship. And after that piece was removed, that changed. And her husband were actually going into counseling. And she talked to me 6 months later, and she said, you know what? We shaved off almost a year of counseling.
Wow.
Yeah, they were much more, connected. And so that is an example of what doesn't serve us. There's nothing positive about that. There's nothing wrong with that person, but it doesn't belong there.
Yeah.
So,
oof, I love those examples. And you gave such a perfect example of what happens when you redo your space and how it supports you in the success of your business and your life, and how you feel in your productivity and your creativity. And then also having like tax papers under your bed, and also an axe behind a picture frame, just the energy that emits, and how that blocks the growth and the potential of a relationship in every area and every area of your life. That is amazing. So before we go into your 3 steps that you have for us today, I'm curious, what is it about, and I guess it's kind of going a little deeper into, for example, like the tax papers under your bed. What is behind clutter? Like, what is it about clutter? What is it about certain objects in our room that carries a heavy vibration and blocks us from ease and flow and success and abundance? What is it about these tangible things in our space?
Yeah, thank you so much for asking that question, Minerva, because this is so important for people to understand. And what it is, it's the subconscious. So we're not always so aware of that, but when you're walking in a room and, there might be something that you really don't like. You might not even know, because you've walked in that room how many times, but it's like, it kind of just shaves off and it takes away your what do I want to say, like your high vibration, like the best version of who you can be. So clutter, first of all, let's talk about the physical clutter. Yes. What is clutter? So it's something you don't need anymore. A collection of items. It could be a whole bunch of books that you don't need anymore. So I know clutter has a really negative word to it, but just think about, maybe somebody else can use it, but it doesn't do you any service anymore. Mm-hmm. So that's sort of like, what is that? The second thing, or another thing, is that what happens when you walk into the room and it's cluttered? Well, it's really hard to focus. Mm-hmm. And, you know, we really should, and we honor what all about time. So when we're in a space that's full of clutter, we feel like we've never actually finished putting things away and or getting rid of things. And when that's gone, put away, then we can feel more relaxed and at ease. And clutter sometimes, like when you're getting rid of things, you really should be cognizant to get rid of it right away. So what I find sometimes is clients will have items and they're, you know, in the hallway ready to go out, but what that creates subconsciously is obstacles. And so you're creating obstacles in your space because you're having a hard time going around. The papers, you know, diaries, what's written on those papers? Like, is it maybe your teenage time where you weren't feeling happy? Why do you have that? Pictures that you like aren't positive. So a whole array of items that, you know, when you keep hearing, you know, it doesn't do you service, it doesn't do you service, it doesn't lift you up. You know, transforming your space really transforms and puts you in this high vibration.
Right. And it already, as we all know, that everything is energy. So if you were to put it under a microscope, I believe you do see, and there's scientific proof of this, you would see a certain vibration of it, but not like that's the metaphysical side of it, that there is a vibration emitting off of each item, but also what it does to you subconsciously and what it triggers for you physically and emotionally. Like you see, it's like seeing your ex in public and you're like, oh, like it does something to your body. So the same thing with seeing an ex's photo, or like you said, the old journals, it triggers a time in your life and it triggers a physical response in the body where you either tighten up or you feel like emotionally, you feel sad, or, and vice versa. So like when you shared, you have an organized, clutter-free, high vibe space, it makes you excited. Like it inspires you. The creative juices flow. You want to be in that space. So it's so important that these items are in the right place, or you release what's not serving you, because it just does so much on your mind, mentally, and also emotionally and energetically.
Yeah, I just want to bring one more example of one person because I just loved how you explained that, Minerva. You know, you're right on par. There was one client and she was in a workshop that I hosted and she said, you know what, when I move, then I'm going to do A, B, C, and D. And I said, why don't you do that now? And when you move, you move. But put yourself, you know, put yourself in we take care of so many other people around us and we don't put ourselves first. Put yourself first and be in the space that you love. That doesn't mean you're going to be in the space forever. She was living in a lower level apartment and she said, oh, well, you know what for? She called me the next week and she said, you know what? I actually listened to you. I painted the place. You know, I feel so much better.
Yes, I
So
love that.
yeah, people sometimes will say, I'll do that when.
Yes. And I feel like this is just a form of, you know, house coaching or spiritual coaching or any type of coaching, anything we do. And there's so many ways that we can serve, but this is one way to target those blocks to you being in your full potential. And painting later, I'll pack this away later, or when I move, or when I get money to do all those things. Those are just all quote unquote excuses in dealing with what's really going on under the surface. Right? Would you say?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so let's get into your 3 steps because I'm so excited to hear this and I want the world to receive this because I know you give such an abundance of information. So why don't you take it away? So what are the 3 steps to create a high vibe space?
Okay, well, I want to start with gratitude, and whatever our viewership and our listenership resonates to, please do that. So that's what's really important. Whatever, you know, what works for you. So one area of gratitude is what I call, you know, the acknowledgement of our land. And so we've had our forefathers, our Indigenous and First Nations really teach us how important our land is, the earth. And to take time, maybe in the beginning of your meditation, if you're doing a meditation, and to really honor the land that your home is on. if that's a house, if that is a condominium, an apartment, honor that land and thank the land and be grateful for the land. It's taking care of you, it is supporting you, it is giving you health, it's giving you shelter. And when you really connect with that, the relationship gets stronger and stronger. And when we respect our home and are connected, the space really has our back. So it's just this beautiful intertwined relationship. Another area of gratitude, I say, is, again, it's about meditation. And when you're meditating, begin with starting with your heart. And with your heart, feel the love, and then bring that around yourself, and then around your room, and bring that all around your house. And that's not to bring the love further. Absolutely. But as we all know with Oprah, and she says, if you take care of yourself first, the oxygen mask, then the rest can continue to follow. And so, we are in a heart-based new earth. There's a lot of shifting going on. There's a lot of change going on. And when we come from a place of love, it just changes it all up. And it makes it easier, and it makes it more approachable, and all those various areas. Right. Another area for affirmations and sort of high vibing with gratitude is when you just go to like your room, but stand before you walk in and just take a look around your room and look at what it is that you love about your room. Because every room has something beautiful to offer. And that was something I did with my staging. I really always looked at each room and what is it that room has to offer? And connect with that room. If you feel comfortable, say hello, whatever. But you will feel this intertwined, again, heart connection. It's really beautiful. And the other area I have is a letter of intention. And that's like journaling and taking I have something on my website for anybody who wants to go, and a letter of intention for your space, and getting a piece of paper and sitting in that room, having a nice cup of tea, lighting a candle, and writing in the present what you would like in this room, what you see in this room, what the room and can give for you and your family. It could be the dining room of laughter and joy and beautiful communication and healthy, good food. And I tell you, you fold this up and you put it somewhere in the space, and whatever you've written in there will come.
It's so true. Sorry to cut you off.
No, please. No, I want you to.
Because it's true. When you did the clearing and you did your beautiful ceremony in our home, in our old apartment, Dev and I, my husband and I, we filled out that letter, and it did come true. So it's so powerful having intention with your space, because it's the seed that you plant, and that's what's going to flourish in your space. So yes, I'm going to make sure to leave that information on our site, goddessofwisdom.ca/podcast, so that you all can get access to Anja's letter of intention.
Yeah, I'm so glad to hear that. That's so good. So the next area I sort of want to talk about is like sort of energy cleansing tips and techniques, for our home that aren't really that challenging. One of my big ones is open your windows. Doesn't matter what time of the year it is, but I'm going to give you a visual. You wake up in the morning, you leave the bedroom, open the window. You don't have to hang out in there. If it's cold, you don't want to be in there, or if it's too hot. But, removing the stagnant air, again, it's like get rid of what no longer serves you and bring in, what's good for you. Huge, huge change in that. So opening windows, big thing. Bedrooms, your office, your living room, the front door, it doesn't have to be more than 2 minutes, whatever you feel comfortable with. But that's huge. Another one that I really love to, let people know is mindful sweeping. And it's kind of like going with the broom and taking a real sort of meditative sort of dance with the broom, but you're sweeping away again the dust. And I say to start on the baseboards, because we are now in a society, doesn't matter where in the world, but there are so many of us, and the dust just accumulates so quickly. And dust is very low vibrating. It brings us down. So going from the baseboards, and you can do like a little mantra maybe as you're sweeping, and it doesn't, again, have to be long. But sweeping out your office, if you work from home, sweeping out the kitchen at the end. We know that feeling, but you could even do something like happy, healthy, wealthy, like just something that resonates with you. It's great. It's just beautiful.
One thing you actually taught me is when I never thought of sweeping outside of my home, like the porch way, because I'm like, it's outside and it's going to be dust and, leaves and stuff blowing, but it makes such a difference. And every time I sweep, I literally cleanse it and I see white light as I'm sweeping. And I just see white light lining the pathway coming up to my door all around the home. And it just feels so good and light. And you do see a noticeable difference, but feel a difference as well. So I like the idea of having a mantra attached with it, or an affirmation attached to it.
Yeah. The other one is garbage bins, waste baskets. So, I mean, we are very fortunate in this part of the world that we have such great services. But you might just feel that you don't have to get rid of it, just before garbage day. Go through, like, if you had a little I'm just happen to be in the office, but it could be anything, like, maybe an overwhelming situation in the kitchen. A kitchen is a huge place where there's so much activity going on. And so just remove the garbage, at that day. It doesn't have to fill up in the bathroom or in the bedroom. But again, that kind of goes into with the dust category of being low vibrating, because whatever we don't need anymore, we threw it out. It's papers, or it's wastage, or whatever it may be. But that really high vibrates the space, and you want to elevate, and that is wonderful. Rearranging your room, and I'll talk about that more sort of maybe like the living room, but even in the dining room. Right now, we are all at home. A lot of us are at home, and we're not out doing purchasing or anything like that. But just changing up the energy of the living room. So, for example, maybe where your couch is, you might, move a couple of pillows around there, or maybe there's a side table that you might put on the other side, or maybe you can even flip the room. Like in my living room, I could put my love seat where my two occasional chairs are. It all depends. But in the dining room, just take the dining room chairs and then just move them to the next section, sort of like rotate them, because sometimes the same person, we sit in the same space, and what's going on in that area, right? Yeah. So just changing things around, and decor items, like shop in your own home. Maybe some things that are in one space on your bookshelf, you can put on the coffee table, or, some pillows that you have in one room. Just switch it up a little bit. Again, it's not about needing and having to go shopping or money and all of that. You can, look around your home, go, oh, wait, maybe that'll look great.
It's so true. It's a quick and simple way to shift the energy. And you are even like, oh, I didn't know I had that. And you look at it differently as well when you see it from the bookshelf to the coffee table, and put a candle or, flower near it. So yeah, I like that tip.
And tightening things up, like in terms of decor, like maybe if you can see this over here, like this is all very close together. So it becomes a collection. Right? You can put something like this on the coffee table, or you can put, or a nice little tray with some utensils in the kitchen with your oil and vinegar sitting on a tray or something like that.
Yeah, and those who are watching on Goddess of Wisdom TV will get to see your little demonstration there, because it's so beautiful. Even your office and your background is just so simple. And yeah, I like the little section you have there with the flowers and the crystals and books.
Yeah, tightening things up really makes it again, the collection speaks great. The other thing is to maybe put 3 colors together. So if you want to introduce, let's say you want to just change up the color in your living room. Okay, it's spring. Well, what do I have that's yellow around the house? So maybe 3 yellows. So then it comes together, the space, 3 to 5 yellows. And, you know, so it could be a throw, a pillow, it could be the daffodils, you know, so just something like that in terms of, and, you know, we love Pinterest. We love looking at, you know, these fashion home decor books, but our homes are allowed to look like that, and we can make them. I mean, it's exactly, I loved what you said in the beginning when you were like changing up your bedroom and everything like that. That's so empowering. It's so great. Crystals is yeah, crystals are huge. They're really empowering. You know, we've got like the rose quartz that's all about love, or amethyst, which gives you a little bit of, you know, it's intuition, but it's also giving you, sort of opening up, intuition, opening up your mind. And then there's other, like black tourmaline, which is very good for protection, or citrine. So crystals are hugely high vibrating, and they're also lovely decor pieces.
So you gave us a lot of tips already. What number are we on? Like I said, you're a wealth of information.
Yeah. So I think I have one more for the energy, and then I'm going to go through the rooms a little bit, but that was a big one. Plants and flowers. I mean, you know, green plants, especially now.
Yeah.
Get a green plant and put it in a room and see how you feel. Like peace lilies are lovely. You know, there's like the fig plant right now is a very, you know, in plant in terms of in vogue decor style. But just the greenery makes a huge difference. Flowers, we know for sure. But again, I'm always very cognizant, especially at this time, in terms of our spending ability. So a plant will, you know, stay with us much longer than fresh flowers. So but it really just, greenery uplifts us quite a bit. So yeah, that's for that area there.
Yeah, and that's, well, also to that point, maybe if you have a garden, you can bring the flowers in, but also the oxygen that comes from having plants. It makes such a difference in your space.
Yes, that's true. And so sort of the last area that I wanted to talk about is, and I guess I kind of jumped in a little bit on it too when I talked about Pinterest and our home decor magazines, but, you know, glorious homes that have a presence. And so, you know, our bedrooms are so huge for us. It's a place, you know, that we talked about in the beginning, where it's a place of rest and renewal and rejuvenation. And, you know, coming in and making your bed in the beginning of the day. It doesn't take long.
That's huge.
That
makes such a difference.
Yeah. And you walk in and you're greeted by this gorgeous bed. Maybe, you know, add some flat sheets. And so when you're in the bed, it feels that coziness. Some people love accent pillows. Some people say it's too much, but textures, a different throw on there. So beautiful. And, you know, again, you can find different decor, like, you know, candles on in the evening, maybe if you're reading a book. But remember, you know, it is a place for rest. And it's also, as a master bedroom, it's a place for intimacy. And that is so, so important to us. The kitchen is huge. It's a busy place, especially with families. It could be a homework spot. You know, I call it where the board meetings happen. You know, there's cooking with the fire. There's a lot of energy in that space. Yeah. So having our counters as clear as possible really allows us, it's back to that clutter part, allows us to walk in and feel focused. Putting a bowl of lemons or a plant of rosemary, you know, just a gourmet place. And it's not everybody that, you know, not all of my clients are like cooking in the kitchen all the time, but they love having a great feeling walking in that space. You know, food nourishes us, and it's so important. Our fridge, I'm big on getting the phone, put the timer on, 10 minutes. Say, you know what, I'm just doing a wipe down for 10 minutes in that fridge. Let me get rid of all those science projects, you know, And do that before you bring in the good food.
The science projects.
You know, and who doesn't love opening the fridge and seeing good nutritious food in there? You know, it changes the energy. It's exactly what you said, Minerva, before, where that trigger, if you open up that fridge and you can't see what to make, and you're seeing, you know, it doesn't feel good.
Yeah, that's so true. And you're like, I have nothing to eat. You're not inspired to eat. And then that's when you pick up the phone and order. But it's so true when it's all laid out and you could see the vegetables and you see the fruits and they're all, you know, full and colorful. And you know, that makes it's so true. You just kind of like reminded me that. And when I see my food, I'm like excited. What can I make? Oh, I could make this, this, and this, but it's all cluttered. My creativity is totally squashed down. It's so true.
Yeah. And again, we are home quite a bit now, but for those of us, you know, as you're walking up the steps to your home, what does your home look like? Like you mentioned, you know, has it been swept? You know, is there anything that needs to be fixed? You know, because as soon as you walk up and you see that, it's that subconscious that can either say, oh my God, I just look at this place, it's gorgeous.
Mm-hmm.
Or, oh my God, you know, and then you keep like, you know, like we're so good at berating ourselves, right? And you know, we got to get rid of that, and we got to, you know, live in much more higher vibration. So
I love all of those tips, Annie, because it sounds like you just gave a clear picture of what the intention is behind each room, like the kitchen. And even if it's not the intention you set, but being very clear what the bedroom's for, what the kitchen is for, what the front porch is for. Is it welcoming? Is it, you know, warm? Or is the bedroom for rest and relaxation? Is the kitchen for creativity, for nourishment, for family gathering? So I love the intention you set for each of those rooms.
thank you. Thank you so much. I'm so
So
passionate about it, as you can tell.
yes, I love it. And like I said, I think everyone got so much information. And what I want to encourage our listeners and viewers to do is take what's one thing that really stuck out in your mind that Anja said. What's one room that you can address today? Or what's one thing you can do for that room? Maybe it's just setting an intention. Or maybe it is just walking in and saying, what do I like about this room? Or maybe it is setting that 10-minute timer and clean out the fridge or clean out that closet. It's baby steps, and it's also it's a mentality shift, right? Because it's not like you do it once and it's done. Wouldn't that be great if you just wash the dishes once and it's all done? But obviously it takes work. So I think it's about getting in the habit. And one thing I took away is also the gratitude you have for your home. And if you don't have gratitude for your home, I think you treat it that way. And when you do have gratitude for your home, you treat it differently. And I could totally attest to that and I think, obviously, I shared this with you. When we moved into our home, there was, you know, it's an older home and there was things to fix and do. And we started feeling like not very loving towards our home. We were saying we have a love-hate relationship with this home right now. We're really angry with it. And when I tuned into that, I was like, hey, that's not going to serve this home. There's going to be more problems if we're coming from that place. And so I did, as you said, clear the energy. I meditated on the home, and that may be different for everyone else than what they would do. But truly, when we got into a space of loving our home again and giving it thanks. Thank you for keeping us safe. Thank you for keeping us warm. Thank you for starting this family and keeping my little family together under this. And when you start for looking for those little things you're grateful for that are actually meaningful to you, it really transforms the space, the energy, and your approach of how you take care of your home. So I just want to encourage everyone to take at least one thing, and what can you do today to start loving your home and create this high vibe space. So anything else you'd like to share, Anja, before we end for today?
I love the way you closed that up. You know, it was really wonderful. And I think that's such a wonderful offering that you're giving your viewer and listenership to choose one thing. And I feel that, you know, when you just do one thing, you're going to start to see a difference and you're going to get in the momentum.
Yes.
You're worth it. You're number one.
Yes. You gave so much amazing tips to our listeners and viewers Thank you so, so much, Anja. It's like I could talk to you for hours, but I want people to experience more of you. So please visit AnjaHouseCoach.com to download the free intention letter. And also you're offering a 30-minute clarity, a complimentary call.
Yes.
So take advantage of that. You're going to get a wealth of information. We just did like a 30-40 minute show, and you gave so much. So imagine what you would get just one-on-one time with you. So I encourage everyone to please check out AnjaHouseCoach.com. I'll also be leaving that information in the show notes on goddessofwisdom.ca under podcast, and you can find us on YouTube. So thank you so much for joining Words of Wisdom podcast and Goddess of Wisdom TV. And please like, comment, and let us know what's one thing you took away from today's show. And don't forget to subscribe so you can get the next episode with new tips and meditations. And what I am passionate about is sharing and helping you figure out what to do so that you can reach the next level you. So thank you so much, everyone, for joining. Sending love and light.